You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From Daytona Beach, Florida, the iSNF Xfinity Series is making a special appearance on Sim Racing Media. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Sim Racing Media. You're about to watch 100 of the fastest laps that you will see in this season's iSNF Xfinity Series. I'm Dave Riegel, alongside my partner in crime, Mr. Jason Sawford, here in the SRM broadcast booth. And we will be settling in for all of these laps today on Sim Race Media. Jason, glad to be with you. And I also see that our good friends Tony Trapasso and Rio Ferris are here in the booth. Glad to have everybody along with us for this action today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, and well, welcome to iSNF. It's great in the Cup Series, so I have no doubt that it's going to be great here in Xfinity as well.
Yeah, especially at a place like Daytona, you know, this is always one of those races where everybody's going to be grouped right together in a tight pack, and you got to figure out quick who you can work with and who's going to be not working with you. And you know, it's fun to come and do the other series, that some of the series that we cover, like one of their divisions. Now we're able to cover a couple of their divisions. And Jason, I don't know about you, but I've heard nothing but good things about this Xfinity Series.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm loading into the session now, and I see pretty much all names I recognize. I mean, it's like the stacked field from Cup Series, etc., in just slightly different cars. And I've been running this combination all week, just driving it for myself and because it's been on, and I love it, to be honest.
It seems to be the consensus is right now everybody likes the Xfinity car a little bit more than either of the two Cup cars, the old Gen 6 or the next gen. As looks like we're getting ready to click over to qualifying. But yeah, I mean this car, the draft package on this car, I'm going to say it right now, is, in my opinion, the best super speedway package that iRacing has produced ever.
Good evening, gentlemen, and this is Rhea Ferris, the league owner, and I wanted to say hi to everyone out there listening as qualifying is getting ready to start. The man responsible for this broadcast and the funding for it is here with us now, Clarence Prince, driver of the number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. Clarence, I wanted to personally say thank you on behalf of the league for your donation support and ongoing participation with iSNF, and we're definitely wanting to show you some form of gratitude here before the race starts.
No problem. Anytime. Glad to hear from you guys.
Clarence, I want to offer you a virtual handshake right now, and thank you for allowing us to bring this race to the masses, because I can't think of a better way to spend an early Sunday afternoon than watching cars go around Daytona. This is always fun.
Hey, I appreciate it, Big Dr. Tony. Good to hear from you, man.
Good to see you out on the track. Qualifying underway. We're going to let you go blast that one off. Best of luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you.
So Dave, this is your first time with the iSNF.
It absolutely is. And I'll tell you what, Tony, I mean, this is one of those leagues that I hear about, in the other broadcasts that I cover here for Sim Racing Media. And, I'm always a little bit jealous, especially because of how organized things are. Usually, of course, today we had a little kerfuffle pre-race. But, Rhea really keeps this league running. I mean, she is truly the chief cook and bottle washer of the iSNF series. And, this series overall is one of those that I personally, make sure that I'm checking out every week. And we're going to take a look right now at our point standings with Alex Oridsson, the product out of Sweden, sitting atop the pile with Marcus Hagman just behind him. You can check out here on our on the center of your screen, Taylor Butcher Benjamin running in third, James Bowles in fourth, and Bjorn Brostrom in fifth. Tony, just such a talented series here.
It absolutely is, and the other thing you got to consider too, getting back to what you were talking about with Rhea, this is one of 5 divisions that these guys run.
That's impressive. Now, as far as I know,
there's ARCA, Truck, Xfinity, and Cup, and they're getting ready to fire back off for their Indy series.
That's correct.
Let that sink in and think about how much work Rhea has to put in to keep all 5 of those series up and running.
It's a lot.
I don't know when you sleep, lady.
I don't either. Let's say I don't have much of a life outside of Discord.
You know what, though? When you're sitting here on Discord, I mean, day in and day out, at least you have that sense of community without even having to leave the comfort of your own seat.
Yeah, that's true. And then I actually have a friend that races in here that I talk to at work during the weekdays. So I laugh around with him during the race as well. So like Steven Sierra, the driver for 7 together. So we drive at work and just like here and talk around. And I also want to, give a shout out to the members that showed up today. It looks like we do have a record-breaking field as far as the count today in the Xfinity Series. So I do want to appreciate everybody spending time with us Sunday afternoon, went out racing Daytona with us. And with that said, one of the reasons why, for those watching and who are unfamiliar with the camera angles and stuff, like to run the driver info box at the bottom of the screen during the race, because each and every one of these drivers contributed money to the league fees. So essentially, this is a league-sponsored, member-sponsored league in general. By highlighting people and their names, and not only the watching know who they're seeing on TV and to cheer for at home, hi, things like that, and but it also gives them that moment of fame and spotlight that they wouldn't get otherwise. And but we are looking for a corporate sponsor, so if you are a small business out there or a .com, or to have you join iSNF, and we can work with SRM, you guys there, and play some commercials and stuff during the race and your small business. But guys, it looks like qualifying is about through. Who's the top of the leaderboard here?
Right now we have AJ Green sitting atop the pile. He had laid down a 50.89 second lap with Linus Brostrom running in second, with Marcus Hagman out here laying his second lap down, now finishing his second lap at a 50.9. So actually Brostrom and Hagman, the two Swedish competitors here in the top 5, side by side within hundredths of one another.
Yeah, we've got a very strong Swedish contingent here in the Xfinity Series as well. I see we see them in the Cup Series, and I see that they are over here running Xfinities as well. So that's good to see. Even a few extra names that I don't necessarily recognize from.
And it does work with the Swedish time zone a lot more. You being from across the pond can relate to that, and when. You can, get to bed a little earlier and still have a shot at racing with us, the better. But guys, I'm going to have to hop off here. I hope you guys have a wonderful race as far as broadcasting goes. If you have any questions, by all means, hop down into RSS chat where I will be. And the stages will be, as a reminder, laps 20 and 40. Hopefully no confusion or cautions or whatever leading up to that. But if you have any questions as to whether or not that was actual stage break, feel free to check with me and I'll confirm.
Will do, boss lady. Just let us know if you need anything.
All right, sir. Thank you guys for covering the race today, and we'll talk at you guys a little bit later.
Thank you very much, Rhea. And Tony and Jason, listen, the three of us have not, Tony and I have spent countless hours together, and Tony and Jason, you guys have spent hours together, but the three of us hanging out here, this is quite a day.
Yeah,
it absolutely is.
It's going to be interesting having a 3-man booth for this as well. And I just noticed Curtis Kelly a few moments ago ended his qualifying in spectacular fashion.
Yeah. Judges' scores are in on that one. 9.8, 9.5, 10 from the Romanian judge.
Always the Romanian judge with the 10.
Not usually. They're stingy on their scores. I'm surprised that was a 10.
So, gentlemen, listen, we're setting up for 100 laps here, 250 miles at Daytona International Speedway. We're just a short distance away from the sands where NASCAR was found, and the now the Xfinity Series, but once upon a time the Grand National Series, here on these hallowed grounds at Daytona. You can't understate enough, or you can't, overstate enough how important this particular place is in our world.
You're absolutely correct. And it started with Bill France, who was a racer himself and a race promoter here in the greater Daytona Metroplex. And that's kind of where the rivalry between him and Smokey Yunick came about, because France had a garage, Yunick had a garage, and they would throw barbs at each other. But when it came down to what was best for racing and wanting to race and wanting to grow the sport, Bill France Sr., a few track and race promoters throughout the Southeast, and a few bigger team owners showed up here in Daytona way back in the day and hashed out a plan to grow this sport to what we've grown to love.
Without a doubt. And, this sport, it's now, as far as I know, and I don't want to spoil it, The Cup Series should be wrapped up, if not just wrapping up, here in Daytona, as they had to be rescheduled from last night after inclement weather had pushed back that normal Daytona night race here late in the summer.
Okay, Dave, biggest way to make Rhea mad is announce what's going on in the race during our broadcast. Don't do that, because you do not want to see that cherubic face pissed at you.
Fair enough. All right. Nobody wants any problems this early on. So, that being said, let's take a look at that qualifying order as the drivers are all getting lined up.
Jason?
Yep, sorry. I was just opening a can of Monster. We've got AJ Green lining up at the front with Linus Brostrom alongside him for the first row. Then Marcus Hagman and Taylor Butch Benjamin make up row 2. Justin Barkley and Matt Fawns making up the third row. Chase Harden and Charles Roberson in 7th and 8th. And Björn Brostrom and Isaac Wilson rounding out your top 10, Tony.
John Hopley and Alex Eraldson going to roll it off from row number 6. Row 7 sees Chris Worrell and Derek Cook. Peyton Hubbard and Alex Weigert going to roll it off in row number... Sorry, I take that back. Peyton Hubbard and... why is it not showing up for me?
Christian Malchuk.
Christian Malchuk. All it gave me was C, and I didn't know why, because I don't have my right overlay pumped up here. Alex Weigert and Clarence Prince. Again, thank you, Clarence, for sponsoring this event to let us broadcast it. That is going to be row number 9. And row 10, Curtis Kelly and Daniel Hemrick. That is row 10, Dave.
Row number 11 is on the inside, Michael Askander with Joey Maines on the outside. Row number 12 is Mark Hanna and Robert Rowe. Trey Mitz and Christian Van Maastricht make up row number 13. You gave me the hard one, didn't you, Tony?
You're welcome.
Row number 14, Steven Sear and Christian Delgado. Michael Hagstrom is here in row number 15 alongside our very own Rhea Ferris. Tommy Stanley in row number 16, alongside Casey Tomlinson, James Bowles and Bob Wyckoff here in 33rd and 34th. Row number 18, JB Banner and Brian Treadwell. Colin Zemer on the inside of row number 19, and starting shotgun on the field is going to be Frederick Legion.
So 38 cars scheduled to roll off here tonight. And some race data information, 65% fuel fill, 4 sets of tires to get it done. And Dave, I don't know if you've seen the weather yet, but that track conditions have me terrified right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. This is definitely one of those races where, everybody's probably going to be a little tender-footed here at the outset.
I mean,
it absolutely is. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm going to be honest, from my experience running these, it's never really worth fighting hard, especially here, until you get last 10, 15 laps. But I can say that. I know for a fact they're going to do it anyway.
You are correct.
As many times as I know the three of us have sat in the cockpit for one of these events, somebody's bound to come on race radio and say, just remember, you can't win it on turn 1, but inevitably somebody absolutely will try.
You certainly can't win it in turn 1, but you sure as heck can make your night a whole lot more troublesome.
Well,
as
Tony?
the field works its way out of the 3-4 complex, pace car getting ready to haul it off. The only thing that's left to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn because it's time to get it on at the world center of racing. Race fans, it's show time.
The man in the stand waves the green flag in his hand, and we are underway in the iSNF Tsunami 250 at Daytona International Speedway. Linus Bostrom and Marcus Hagman bring the field all the way down here into turns 1 and 2. Everybody pretty well set so far today as we work our way side by side through almost this entire field, all the way back through 21st, about halfway.
Yep, 32 deciding to bail early on the top lane. So looks like we may have a fairly strong inside out the get-go, as there's only about 3 cars in that top outside, make that 5 nearly.
Well, we've seen it before, time and time again, especially on the Friday Night Super Speedway Series. If you get 3 cars that know how to work together, they can work their way to the front. Now, the good news is they've got 2 guys in there that have a ton of Super Speedway experience. And I just lost. There he is. Back in 10th, that is the 54, Chris Worrell. All the way at the caboose of that outside lane. He definitely knows what he's doing on a super speedway. Always a contender for wins, especially on plate tracks. That man knows how to use the air, and Brostrom is fast learning. And here comes Worrell 3 wide out of turn number 4.
Turn number 4, and just as that number 2 Whalen Chevrolet Camaro is sitting there, 3 wide, he's the meat. Now we have that dangerous diamond formation that comes out every now and then, and I'll tell you what, I've said it before, and I said it earlier this week, Tony. Once that diamond formation comes out, you start, really watching your spacing around you. The Good RX number 24 Toyota Camry. Whoa, the 2 decides to slice everybody right in half here as we are 3 wide.
If it was Talladega, I wouldn't be white-knuckled, but here at Daytona, you don't want to go 3 wide too long.
Well, you sure tried it, and there is a lane there now, as the 21 was heading that lane, so these 2 know how to work together, Marcus Hagman and Alex Haroldson, so it would be interesting to see what that lane can do, and top lane's not got some bad names in it either, so it's looking spicy right now.
As Linus Brostrom's getting hung out to dry on that 3rd lane right now, he finally finds a hole that he can crawl into. Coming down the super stretch here, as AJ Green has led all the laps so far, and we've got a new race leader as Marcus Hagman pulls to his door going into turn number 3.
And with 4 of 100 laps in, we're working our way toward lap number 20, as we do have 3 stages today. It's going to be lap number 20 for stage number 1. Stage 2 will end at the conclusion of lap number 40. And then, of course, we'll have the 60-lap marathon to the end of stage 3 to see who brings home the checkered flag here in the iNSF Tsunami 250, brought to you by Mr. Clarence Prince. Clarence out here driving in the number 19 Toyota Camry. We see him working his way through in that machine as he is on the high side, holding it together so far, and looking good right now, guys.
Dave, if you could throw up the driver info box and just leave that on, because this league is actually, the money that the broadcasts are from are brought up by the league members. So,
Trouble in turn 4.
Oh my.
Big trouble.
Oh my.
Going to be going back to see if we can't find where this all began. My goodness.
Looks like the 16 and 31.
Right there it is, gents. And we'll take a run back here. We'll take a look at this from the 31, as it looks like he may, I'm not saying is the culprit, but definitely heavily involved here. We see the 31 drifting up, checks up in front of the 16. The 16 has no place to go.
The 26, the Good RX Toyota, looks like he may have caught the apron. The 31C on because of how low you sit in this car, and that's really what popped this off.
Yeah, it seemed to me like the 31 had a nice run in on the 26, and then the 26 had to check up a bit for whatever reason, and unfortunately, this is the result. But That does happen sometimes.
Unfortunately, yes. So the 78 and the 8 both getting into it. That was brutal.
definitely, I was going to say, that was definitely brutal, especially this early on in the event.
99 catching a piece. Oh, wow. Well, then.
Well, that'll make things different, gentlemen.
5 laps in. We're already under caution number 1 here. 7 laps in, I'm sorry. The caution happened on lap 5.
Definitely going to be a long afternoon if the cautions come out at a frequency like that, fellas. I mean, gee, this is what, about a 2-minute, almost a 2-minute caution pace here.
Pretty much, yeah. The good news is everybody's got one fast repair in their pocket tonight. The bad news is everyone's got one fast repair in their pocket tonight. Jason knows exactly what I mean when I say that, too.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. You'll most people use it nice and sparingly. They'll realize they're in the early wreck. They might use it here. I think a decent chunk of people have decided to. I think some people are instead choosing to fix their damage the normal way. But then,
as you do,
there's only a few people who may take it a bit less cautiously.
Yeah. So to recap your top 10 right now, AJ Green, Marcus Hagman, Justin Barkley, Alex Eraldson, Matt Forns, Chris Worrell, Chase Harden, Charles Robertson, Curtis Kelly, and Linus Brostrom rounding out your top 10 as they currently sit. And the only takers that went down pit road looks like are the cars that were involved in that kerfuffle that brought out the caution as the lights go out on the pace car, Dave.
Absolutely. When we see some of these drivers coming down, of course, it is just for damage. But, pit window today is going to be a lot more about fuel as, here the tires don't get chewed up the way that they do on some of the intermediate tracks, because you're basically hanging everything out, full throttle all the time. There's not a whole lot of wear. You will see maybe a few more people take right sides only if they need to loosen the car up, especially late on in the race as they're getting ready to make that push. But, pit strategy going to be a little bit different, and you'll even see that tonight, folks, on the iSNF Cup Series at 5 p.m. I believe you go live, Tony?
4:45.
Yeah, and the next gen cars that you'll also see tonight on the Davis Brothers Roofing SNN Cup Series, even more interesting, as far as tire wear and things go. And basically for those of you that aren't aware, I mean, these Xfinity cars are a little bit more like the last Gen 6 car that we saw before the next gen car.
You are correct. But, getting back to what I mentioned during the Open, this car has currently, anyways, in my opinion, the best drafting package in all of iRacing. Here we go, Jason.
Yep, absolutely. Pace car takes the hard left onto pit road, and AJ Green goes from the restart zone.
Electing to take the high line.
Yeah, bringing Alex Eraldson with him pretty decently, though. Meh.
And they're 3 wide already.
Good.
They're 3 wide as we're looking from the digger hand in through turn 1. These cars not willing to give up any space whatsoever so early on. Nobody being, willing to just slide back and ride the rear, as, the competition is going to be hot and heavy all day long, which should keep it pretty exciting for those of us up here in the booth.
Remember what I said during the first green flag run about Chris Worrell? Currently sitting plus 12. So is Alex Eraldson and the Deuce. Those two guys know how to get to the front on a speedway track.
Without a doubt, and just keeping an eye back here also as far as the big movers are concerned. Brian Treadwell in that number 1 Oreo throwback paint scheme, he's up 15 spots, but a lot of damage on the rear of that Oreo Chevrolet. So not real sure. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at an Oreo Chevrolet diecast here in my broadcast booth, and it looks good out here on the track at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, If there is one man that knows how to make up positions, it is Brian Treadwell. We see this pretty much every time in Cup Series broadcasts. He is a good racer, and even despite the damage, I have no doubt that he'll keep going till the end. He'll be making up some more spots as well, I bet.
Yeah, he's actually one of the founding members here at iSNF from Hancock, Maine, and the 31-year-old up 16 spots now, running in 19th position. Looks like he wanted to try to start a little further back in the field, Tony.
He did, only because you want to see the wreck in front of you rather than get run over from behind. As we saw during caution 1, that was most of it. Is you're better off trusting yourself on the brakes than you've got to have a lot of trust on a super speedway to begin with. And I can think of maybe 10 guys in this field that if I saw in my relative that they were behind me, I wouldn't feel sketched out. Everybody else, I have trust issues.
I mean, to be fair, most of us have trust issues before we even get on the track. This doesn't exactly help, especially when you've got 36 other drivers sitting around you.
27's into the wall on the top shelf. Coming into turn number 1. That could have ended poorly for Bjorn Brostrom, who coincidentally is Linus's father. So a couple father-son combinations out on track tonight.
That's something that we see more often, I feel like, more often in NASCAR than we do almost anywhere else, where the father-son combinations, this is a very generational sport.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean, you figure you got the Allisons, the Pettys, the Earnhardts. 3 generations of Earnhardts have made their way to the Cup Series. 4 generations of Pettys have made their way to the Cup Series. 2 generations of Allisons, the Labonte brothers. It's such a family affair because it takes a family effort to be able to get the car, the driver, the crew to the track week in and week out. So if you don't have the backing of your family, you need to find a new family.
Without a doubt. I mean, one of the things as you were talking about, families, if you look at the other sports, a lot of them, as individual as NASCAR can be as far as actual driving talent, everything else is very dependent on family. As the lead pack gets around, it looks to be the 11 car of Daniel Salo. Is that the 11?
I believe it is. No.
Maybe? So I think
the Gravedigger car?
Michael Hagstrom, 78.
How about the 78?
Yeah.
The 78 car, I'll tell you what, right now he's just looking for a place to get in and hang on tight.
That's about all you can do, and I'm liking what they've implemented here on the super speedways. If the field is coming up on a lap car, it's the lap car's responsibility to get to the high side, leave the 2 racing lanes open for the cars that are at speed, and then when and if you can blend in, go ahead and then you can start racing with the group again. But if you're 10 to 15 miles an hour off pace or more, stay out of the way and let everybody pass safely.
Yeah, and unfortunately, from my experience with that damage, it's pretty easy to lose track. And I think we were looking at the 23, maybe. Oh, that is a large ding in the right rear of the 23.
We're looking at the 23 or the 24.
The 23. If
oh, wow.
Our drone cam. You see that on the right rear of the 23?
Yes, I did see that as he flashed by the camera I was watching.
I'll tell you what, and here we are with the 24. We're here in our drone cam high above turns 1 and 2. They're 3 wide with the 21, the 24, the 47, and the 6, all just up here like a salad bowl. Is now the 47 going to drop into line and get out of Dodge.
Which is probably the best course of action right now, is we're about 4 laps away from the first stage break. Now, the 65% fuel fill in the tanks of these cars they should be able to make it and be able to fuel the cars at the stage break and be okay. As looks like we got one peeling off to try to get track position. Going to give up the stage points and go to that route. But, you know, they should be able to make it 20 laps on a tank of fuel, 20 to 25, I would say.
I believe on a full tank you can make it about 40.
Yeah, but no, they're running 65%.
Yeah, well, then they'd make it 20 easy.
Okay. But what that means is for that final stage, we are going to see possibly green flag pit stops. As the second stage break is not going to be the money stop. Right. Speaking of money stops, Dave, I'm not sure if you found out last night or not, we have a new piece that we need to cover during the next broadcast of the Money Stop, the podcast with Dave Regal and myself, Tony Trapasso. And you can find that on simracingmedia.com. Also, be sure to check out our brand new Twitter page as we try to keep everybody up to date as to the goings on here on Sim Racing Media. That is Sim Racing Media 1 on the Twitterverse.
You know, it's interesting, and I was thinking about this, and maybe it just never dawned on you guys either, but it's kind of funny that we are an all-digital media company, and Twitter was the one thing that we hadn't really cracked into.
That's because nobody thought to do it, because nobody wanted to be the orange guy again.
No, you know, and I get that, I do. And I was talking to a friend of mine at Citizens Bank Park here in Philadelphia last weekend, and you know, we talked about our new exposure on Twitter, and there are a lot of people with some really important eyeballs watching us week in and week out. In fact, if he's out there listening, Greg Murphy with the Philadelphia Phillies, glad to have you in with us, as you know, I know that he does pay attention to our broadcasts here that are live, and of course the Money Stop podcast with you and myself.
And I think we've got a new podcast starting up. We don't have a release date yet for that. Let me pull up my info so I don't sound like a complete idiot.
Yep, so here we are, 2 to go in stage 1, and we did miss a little bit of a kerfuffle as they are 3 wide now as caution comes out, so that is the stage actually then.
Stage 1 ending with AJ Green still sitting atop the pile. AJ Green, kind of a familiar name. I don't believe that he's that AJ Green, but the 3 car takes the green and white checkered flag at the conclusion of stage 1 with Curtis Kelly in P2. Finishing third is Charles Roberson in the number 48 Chevrolet Camaro. Chris Worrell finishing in fourth. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, all from our Swedish contingency there. Linus Broström, Alex Orilson, Alex Wegert, and Marcus Hagman. And the top 10 rounded out with Chase Harden and Taylor Butcher Benjamin.
Just as a correction as to what I said earlier, we were not 2 to go in the stage. That was exactly when the stage was meant to finish, because it finishes at the start of lap 20 and lap 40, rather than end of.
Fair enough. That was my mistake, folks. I fed that to Jason in his ear, but
and he believed you. Mistake number 1.
That's fair. Tony hasn't listened to me in like 8 months.
No,
I'm not running an overlay, so I'll blame that. But as expected, pit stops. Everyone. Come on in.
If you don't come in now, when will you?
The second Tuesday of next week.
Bingo. AJ Green leading the field with Charles Roberson here. I'm assuming we're going to see 4 tires and a tank of fuel here. Don't think we're going to see anybody go just fuel only as we're under caution, but everybody from first all the way through the field with the exception of Isaac Wilson opting not to come in. Let's see what he thinks he's doing here. Can't chase his name fast enough.
Yeah, I'm actually not surprised there to see a bit of a change. Some people opting to not go with tires as well, they're not strictly necessary at this stage from my experience running these this week. You can do a decent amount of laps on a set of tires without them really affecting you too much at the start.
Absolutely, and even at that, now Isaac Wilson last came down on lap number 16, and I'm looking to see here. I don't. Bear with me for 1 second here. He was only down for 1.28 seconds on his last pit stop.
No.
There's something
I've got him down
wrong
to
there.
6.55, so yeah.
He was
I
only
think
on lap 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, presumably.
You want
He's
track
just not
position.
bothering with the
All right then.
not bothering with the stage caution, I guess, and then getting track position. It's worked for him. He's in 7th. Decent shout.
So who do we want to talk to as we're under the stage break?
Pick somebody good. Let's see here.
All right. Let's reach out to one of the guys that's subbing for JGR this week. Let me just...
Let's get Chris Worrell on the line if we can.
That's where I'm about going. I just got to find where the heck we are. I think that's where we are. Yes, we are. And joining us now, driver with the number 54. Chris, we'll make this quick. Talk us through that first stage.
Well, it was good. Had one caution besides the stage in. It was exciting. Everybody up front is racing good and hard. It's going to be hard to beat the competition of the RCR guys. They're working together really well. Seems like every time I push one of those guys to the front, they left me out to dry. So, now I just need to link up with some Toyota guys and hope we can push better than them. And if we can, we might have a chance at it.
All right, Chris, we'll let you get back to it as lights are out. Best of luck to you in stage 2.
Thanks, brother.
Pretty interesting when you come in as a sub and here you find yourself sitting in 3rd position right now on the inside of row 2.
And I don't think I put him in the right room. No, I didn't.
It's fine. Nobody will notice.
He will.
Well, the Suffolk, Virginia native here in the number 54 Cub Cadet Toyota Supra is all kinds of... oh, they're dragging him back now. They're fixing him. But so far, so good for him here as he is up 10 positions running in P3 right now. The iRacing.com pace car about to dive down pit road once again as the man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. Charles Roberson going to be bringing the field into the tri-oval out of the 3-4 complex. They hit the Geico restart zone. He hits the loud pedal, and we are back under green at Daytona International Speedway.
Decent getaway. Everybody seems to be playing nicely so far. Only a couple of takers took four tires on that one. Everybody else looks like either 2 or just fuel.
Just as we were talking about Chris Worrell, looks like he may be having some kind of a connection problem there in the 54.
Yeah.
As he's blinking just a little here. But, you know, folks out there, if this is the first time that you're, watching an iRacing event, something to keep in mind is that when all of these cars are bunched up the way that they are right now, I mean,
it really taxes your system.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah, and that's not a friendly sight to have ahead of you, I must say. But so long as it doesn't happen for too long and too often, it tends to be okay. As AJ
I'm more
Green
terrified
back in the top lane.
I'm more terrified when there's a blinker beside me, because the next thing I know, hey, I got a passenger, and these cars don't have passenger seats.
No, it's like an impromptu passenger seat. We had a guy that used to run in Sunday Night NASCAR who was working off of a satellite connection, and when it would be storming he was from Prim Springs, Tennessee, and when it would be storming in Tennessee, all of a sudden he'd be in your car, he'd be out of your car, he'd be somewhere in the stands. It was scary.
Good shot for Green coming through the tri-oval. Brostrom. Wow. 2 1,000ths of a second at the line for Brostrom.
I don't see who that is shooting all the way down there. Looks like it could
the
be the O2.
Yeah.
Alex Wegert just taking it crazy. I'm going to quick run this back if we can. Stand by, folks. As I want to run that back there with the O2.
Yeah, on the lap before, his fellow Swede Alex Haraldson decided to back out of the field entirely, so he's going to sit towards the back a little bit, and live with 3 wide.
Good grief.
My goodness. I can't even keep the cameras flashing back and forth with as much action as there is today on the racetrack.
Welcome to the ISNF, Dave.
Tony, how comes every time you tell me that there's a really good league and that I should be on it at some point, that then when I do, I have to say the words Tony's right?
Because I've been around this sim long enough to know what a good and bad league are after maybe 2 races.
I feel like there's an exclusive club of maybe like 6 people in the world who on a regular basis say things like Tony is right. To be fair, I drink a lot, but not that much.
Okay, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you send a letter to my mother and tell her that I was right for once?
Oh, no. That's upper management. No, sir. But 3 wide with the 28, the meet in the middle between the 2 and the 92 as we come out of turn 4. My God. Oh, my.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do this all the time. It's even more terrifying when they do it at Charlotte.
No, thank you. No, thank you. If I was on track for that, I would have to be wearing a Depend.
Jason remembers that nightmare.
Oh, I do, as the
Here they go again, the 28 to 54 and the 18.
He's still the meat. As this time Chris Morrell on his outside, and once again the O2 on his inside.
Brostrom throws it down to the low lane, pick up the 21 of his fellow countryman Marcus Hagman. So 2 Swedes on the low side trying to make it happen. AJ Green and Matt Forns trying to get that second lane moving.
That second lane, at least here on iRacing, has been kind of rough almost all week long as we come here through the infield on turns 1 and 2. That beautiful drone cam lifting high above the grass. You know, that high line, it seems like that's almost a drop-off point. You can be pushed all the way here toward the backstretch, and then next thing you know, be dropped off like a kid at daycare, left on your own.
It is possible, but the biggest thing that you got to remember about Daytona and Talladega, in this car, they don't like to be on the low side. These cars get bound up when they're trying to follow the mustard line around this place. You want to be that second lane up, right about where... Oh, no. No. 4 wide.
No.
There it goes.
That's not good.
Oh, that's a mess.
This is going to be a big mess.
Well, we always talk about the big one at these plate tracks. There's your big one, boys.
Oh, dear.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you guys, if you're not listening, have to know by now that Race Radio is not happy.
You think?
Just a thought.
Right, I'm going to go back and have a look at how that one started. So it appears...
It started with Linus getting shuffled.
Well, the 30... Yeah, Linus got shuffled into the middle. Then the 32 got into the outside wall. And that brought him down, and there wasn't exactly much space to go down when you're 3 wide. And, yeah.
Taking a look at it here again from the front of this pack. We go 4 wide right here at the start-finish line, and looks like the 32, my gosh. The 47 went for a ride, guys.
Oh, he absolutely did. And I think the blimp picked that up just about perfect. Looks like the 32 got spooked by the wall and just came down into Brostrom. The 28 was there as well, so the 32 took out the front end of the 28, the back end of the 47, and that's when all hell broke loose.
So the 28
Taking a look at
disappeared
this in super slow-mo as we can see the 32 just coming down and starting the chain reaction.
One thing I'm confused about is the 28 disappeared immediately, but is actually just still sat in their pit box.
That's rather interesting.
Because if they're still sat in their pit box, that means it's not a DQ, doesn't it? In
Right.
fact, he's out now. So
Yeah, no, it wasn't a DQ. He apparently had the tow button primed.
I mean, you can't tow when you're going at any sort of speed. So maybe on his screen he got pinged to space.
That's a possibility. Let me go take a look at that, and I'll tell you what. I'll tell you
Maybe
if
the
that's what
computer
happened.
maybe the computer decided that that was enough. It was time to just come on down.
Yeah. We'll spare you from any more.
It's the computer said, "Hey, listen, you've got a fast repair in your pocket. We might as well get you on down here. We'll take care of it." I'll tell you what. I'm sitting here smiling right now, but I know tonight in the Davis Brothers Roofing SNN Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, I am going to be one of these drivers screaming on the radio at some point. This is almost like the calm before the storm for me.
Yeah, the 29 just had an iRacing glitch. As soon as that car touched the apron sideways, it shot him in the air at about 500 miles an hour.
Ooh. That's, I mean, we're in the right state for a space launch, so
That is true. We're not too far.
yeah.
You're not
right
wrong.
area, to be fair.
We're in the
Okay,
right state for a lot of things.
Yeah, Cape Canaveral's just up the road.
Yeah. So, taking the spirit of that quite seriously here, I see, but I'm not going to lie, that's not the worst time for a glitch space launch, especially when you've got a whole pack of cars behind you.
No, because that's how you wad race cars. How to turn a race car into a taco in one easy step. Park sideways at Daytona.
Oh, you saw my book.
I got yeeted for the yeet of it.
Oh, look at you.
But as we're 1 to green here, I'm just going to take a look at what this means for our top 10. We now have 4 drivers in the form of Trey Mitz, Bob Wyckoff, Christian Delgado, and Brian Treadwell, who we mentioned earlier, who are all up at least 20 spots or around there, who are now sitting 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So this has worked out really well for them.
Tommy Stanley continuing his steady drive towards the front. Currently sits in 13th plus 18.
I
And
have Derek Cook. Oh, there he is. Tommy Stanley.
They're alongside each other.
The number 13 Whataburger Toyota Supra. This is one of the things you have to remember, that in Xfinity, it's the Toyota Supra, not the Camry.
yeah, that kind of threw me off when I did the race Friday night.
I
Yeah,
like the Supra. I'm fine with it.
I do a weekly Xfinity race on Monday nights, and switching between saying Camry on Wednesdays and Supra on Mondays can really screw with you.
It's easy to screw with you, though, Dave.
That's true. I'm easily confused, but Jason, the iRacing.com pace car is down pit road.
It is, and here we go. AJ Green once again taking the green as our leader, and this top 4 have pulled a little bit of a gap here.
Yeah, that was probably one of the more jumbled up restarts we've seen in a while. Is you got a 4-car breakaway at the front, the 45 of Trey Mitz and Bob Wyckoff in tow with him, trying to reel these guys back in. But you got Hagman on the high side, AJ Green on the low side. That is your battle for the lead. Is Chase Harden? Wow.
That is all kinds of mayhem as they come down into turn number 3 and get ready for turn 4.
4 cars starting to get stem to stern on the top shelf.
I was hoping they weren't going to use the run to go 3, and they didn't, but there's 3
They
now for
are
other
now.
reasons.
Oy. Is it wrong that I'm white knuckle and I'm not even on the track?
No, I feel like
No.
I feel like that's the driver in you. That's called empathy, Tim. Empathy.
Sure. So
can
you're
see
saying that I
many
suffer from
places.
both ignorance and apathy then?
Empathy with an E, with an E.
Oh, empathy, not apathy. I'm
There
sorry.
you go. See, hang out with Uncle Tony and Uncle
Hold
Dave for
it.
more psychological vocabulary.
Gone wrong again.
Oh, and we are under caution.
Bob Wyckoff just got sent.
Let's take a look and see exactly what might have happened here. It looks like Wyckoff is already off track there. Whoa.
Ooh, looks like the one was running on the yellow line.
Oh no, he dipped. And
Finally,
that's all you need in this car
Yeah.
to get that thing to wash. Gets it a little bit sideways, starts to chase it up the track. And as he does, Wyckoff already has a run on him. So the one is trying to save it. And as he finally gets it back up on the track, Wyckoff's there, and boom goes the dynamite. Looks like it may have been net code between the 1 and the 07. Unfortunately, the 88 and the 39 absolutely nowhere to go on that third lane.
No, and it looks like it might have it definitely affected Rhea Ferris, our league owner here in the 39. We'll take a look here as she gets right into the rear of the 88 of JB Banner. And now it almost looks like, thanks to the damage model on iRacing.com, that Rhea's driving herself a modified. Little open wheel racing at Daytona.
They used to do that as part of Speed Weeks, the Permatex 200, where they would run, now mind you, pavement modifieds, which all except for that one race every year were set up to run on oval tracks. Well, they didn't want to run the modifieds on the oval. They wanted to run them on the road course. And every year that they ran that race, you'd see more bizarre and more... The designs of the cars would get more bizarre and more bizarre and more bizarre.
And I just ran this wreck back,
He's
and
on track.
I heard an engine.
Okay. Whose engine popped?
That's
And
question.
Rhea Ferris with us here, driver the number 39. Looks like, Rhea, things might have gotten a little hairy for you there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had just used my fast repair precaution before that too. So I have a pavement modified sitting here in the pits with 4 minutes of optional, but I'm laughing because I don't know how this is optional. Yeah. It looks like Brian Treadwell may have gotten loose down in the apron, and then when he shot back up, it forced a 3 wide in kind of an uncomfortable situation for people there. And next thing you know, it was all she wrote. So tough break for the RSS team here, car 39, but I do have two teammates out there, 28 and 38, that I hope have a excellent race. But this is definitely going to be a hurt on my point standings. I am P6 coming into this race. I really needed some stage points and things like that. And unfortunately, no bueno today. But that was not the stage, so they are going to rack them and stack them and come back to the line again here, hopefully keep it clean till lap 40.
Looks like we're going to get a green-white checker for the stage finish.
That's what it's looking like.
All right. Well, listen, we will get you back to your Discord, and Rhea, we appreciate the time that you've given us.
I appreciate you guys covering the race as well, and just don't forget those beautiful driver overlay boxes in the bottom there for me.
You are right there at the bottom. I already saw your message. I got you, sis.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Jason, let me ask you this. Which has been more exciting, the last time we were here in the Cup car or this Xfinity race?
That is a good question for my long-term memory that doesn't happen to be very good.
We ended the 500 on time. It went to time instead of laps.
I remember that now. This. It's
Hey, at least it wasn't Charlotte.
Yeah, I agree. But
we set a record at Charlotte, and not in the good kind.
Yeah, so hopefully we can avoid setting those records now, as the pace car is going to take that left back onto pit road. And we are going to be 2 to go in the stage when we get back underway here at Daytona.
So, next flag ends it.
Marcus Hagman bringing him down the front stretch into turn number 1, Tony, and looks like everybody just kind of, when she said rack them and stack them, they're racked, stacked, and staying in line this time.
They are at that, because nobody wants to see a second Waffle House situation where the cars are just scattered, smothered, and covered. But Hagman, I almost thought he got too good of a getaway on that green. But the 48 of Robertson is giving him a good shot down the backstretch right here. And they've got the 89 of Christian Delgado down there with him. As the 3 of your pole sitter, AJ Green, not having a good time of it, as he's got Trey Mitz with him up on the top shelf. But right now, Hagman and Robertson just making this happen. Robertson looks to the outside, trying to get some clean air to the radiator of that Camaro. And Robertson's going to jump up. Green looking to make it 3 wide, coming through 1 and 2.
Yeah, you just got to jump up there and hope. But that hope wasn't worth it, and they're 3 and legally all over the place.
Oh, boy. That's definitely not something that you want to see this late here in the stage, as it looks like the 48 being pushed by the 23. The 23 gets him a little loose.
No.
Oh, the 24.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Oh, my. That would be the end of the stage for sure, as it is pandemonium in the 3-4 complex.
Good grief.
I believe the term there may be ARCA braking. No?
I'd have to go back and take a look at it. Just taking a quick look at the stage results. Marcus Hagman, Christian Delgado, Charles Robertson, Linus Brostrom, Curtis Kelly, Alex Eraldson, Brian Treadwell, Dominic Herrick, Justin Barkley, and Chase Harden getting the last point.
I'm taking a look right here at the 52 car, if I can pull them up here on the screen. Bear with me here. I can't find him. There he is. Michael Iskander. And take a look at Iskander behind the 54. This is after the fact. He gets a run on the 54, and just as the yellow flag comes out, just comes through like a plow through the mayhem.
Yeah.
That is not going to make our race owner very happy when she sees that.
Nope. That's a penalty.
If there's anybody whose office you don't want to be standing in, it might be Mike Helton in the NASCAR hauler, but I certainly wouldn't want to be standing in Rhea's hauler right now.
I'm more terrified of her than I am of him.
Yeah.
What? I'm telling you, the 52 is so lucky that didn't go more wrong.
But it's wholesale pit stops coming down pit lane now, as we see every one of these machines coming in for service, as just about everybody had come in on lap number 20. We're now here on lap 41 at the end of stage 2. And we're getting ready to go to that final stage, and it's been exciting so far through these first 2. Gentlemen, I can't wait to see what happens next.
You're absolutely correct, Dave. But what do you say we step away, pay a couple of quick bills, and be back after this?
drivers that took time, all of them within.
Welcome back to the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. Dave Regal and Tony Trapasso and Jason Sawford up here in the broadcast booth. Gentlemen, it has been an incredible race so far today. As, quite frankly, we've seen a lot of lead changes. We've seen a couple of wrecks, a couple of nasty ones. But right now, Bjorn Brostrom sitting atop the pile.
Yeah, and, it's not something we see often enough. I mean, Bjorn is an excellent driver. He doesn't have a ton of oval experience, but it's kind of hard to bet against him at this point, considering that he's used pit strategy, he's used, cunningness. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There's a lot of younger drivers in this field, but I can say this because I am an older guy, old age and treachery will overcome youth and skill any day.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I myself at 33, I definitely don't have the same reaction time that I used to. And these guys, they're keeping it cranked up all day long.
As green flag comes back out, we are back underway. Brostrom, I almost got to think Brostrom might have gotten too good of a getaway.
Yeah, I have to agree. I wouldn't be surprised to see the 98 and 54 go high.
There they go.
And unfortunately for the 27, most likely directly around him. But I don't think they may not both be clear by the... Never mind. There.
Well, the good news is for Brostrom, he does have a fellow countryman in the form of Alex Weigert. The only thing is Weigert just hung him out to dry. Your current biggest mover is going to be the 98 of Christian Delgado there in that bright lime green. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Justin Barkley.
Ford Mustang.
I'm sorry, I was seeing. I'm sorry, I was seeing the 6 of Barkley.
The 98's got some bright green on it at least. So.
A 21-year-old out of Abilene, Kansas, almost just said Texas. He's a rookie driver here in the iSNF series, and so far keeping that machine cranked up, even as he is dropping back now for a little breather here on lap number 44 of 100, working our way toward lap number 100. So just about 57 laps left here in this piece, and the heat hasn't even begun to be turned up.
Not again.
Oh, say
Isaac Wilson just had the save of the century.
I mean, unfortunately, after that, he had an unexpected trip down pit road. Let's say it that way.
Well, what caused the final trip down pit road, he almost had it saved, but the 88 just, oh my goodness. The 88 just Kyle Bushed himself.
Taking a look here at the 92. The 27 came down. The 92 catches that mustard line here in the bottom of the racetrack coming out of turn 2. He gets himself recovered and avoids the big one. Then the 88 just comes down and finishes the job. And oddly enough,
look at that hit the 88 just took.
Oh,
yeah,
that's ugly.
I'm seeing this from the chase cam. The 88 actually got a bit of attack on the right side from the 42. So I'm not sure there's too much the 88 could have done.
2 minutes, boarding.
I call that a minor for boarding, but I don't know. That's almost a major.
No, he didn't give him the forearm shiv, so.
Oh, that's fair, but oh my, that's just right into the barrier there in the bottom of the racetrack. Definitely a rough day for the 88 now.
Well, I didn't realize he'd proceed to break physics.
Chris Worrell, your new race leader up here in the 54 Cub Cadet Toyota Supra, leading the way.
Oh no.
Wrecking behind him. It's a mess yet again. And we still stay green.
I will take another look at that and report back to you.
We see the 24 and the 02 get into it. The 02 manages to keep it rolling. He goes from the grass after trimming some of the weeds, and he just gets himself saved.
The 24 not quite so lucky. Luckily, he didn't hit pit road, so he's not going to get popped for an unsafe pit entry.
The 07 dodging out of the way of the lead pack. The 07 nearly kissing the wall and bringing more pandemonium to this series of laps that we've had right now. Right now, the way that it looks, Worrell, Roberson, AJ Green, Bjorn Bostrom here through that 4-5. Now the 42 gets in there. Colin Ziemer in his Toyota Camry gets into the mix. The 98 and the 6 of Christian Delgado and Justin Barkley, respectively, side by side as Barkley backs off here and pulls alongside the 45.
Yeah, with that 24 instant, it looked like they just got into each other, in my opinion. 24 went down, 02 went up. Sorry, have a good day for both of them. I mean, I guess the 02 got off a bit more lightly, but that's how it happens, as that outside lane is really forming up here.
Folks,
it's starting to.
Folks, if you're just tuning in here on YouTube.com, I'm Dave Regal here at the microphone on ones and twos alongside my partners in crime for the day, Jason Swafford and Mr. Tony Trapasso. Well, basically, Tony is the pope of sim racing media, as he is the hardest working man in sim racing media. And make sure to subscribe to the SRM YouTube page here. Give us a thumbs up and get notified by turning on those bell notifications so that every time we go live, you get reminded to tune in and watch some of the amazing races that we have on Sim Racing Media. Also, follow us over there at Twitter at it's Sim Racing Media 1 over there on Twitter.
And we're also starting a new series Saturday nights when we can get a group together. It's going to be Sim Racing Media Reviews, where each week we're going to pick a different game. We're 3 wide at the front. We'll get back to that later. But wow. 28 shot out of cannon trying to get his lap back the hard way. It's Taylor Butcher Benjamin in that Mustang, as he now sits right in front of the 48 of Charles Robertson. And that is a lot of lap traffic they're coming up on quickly.
Yep,
Quickly
that's
is an
one
understatement.
downside of having these wrecks is you've got a lot more lap traffic to deal with. There's a lot less people in the main pack, but that lap traffic can sometimes cause carnage. Luckily, it didn't this time round, but I hope that doesn't become an issue later in the race, but I have fears.
We are at the halfway mark here, working lap 51, 50 in the books, 50 to go, as Robertson using that lap car, and oh no, Chris Vanderstricht.
Taking a look here to see what happened on lap 51. We see Vanderschmeck here, the 68 machine, as we're going to see him coming out of turn 4 into the front stretch, waiting to see what happens.
Oh, it happened in front of him.
I'll say it did.
Is that
Let's go here to the 2 car.
2? Yeah.
And we'll switch over to our drone cam.
Get to the chopper.
Working on it.
Oh, that's the
There she is.
31
Oh, my.
stayed low, and there wasn't any communication between presumably himself and the pack behind. And stayed low, then went high as the first car went low, and, well, the two had already decided to go high by that point. And this is why we stay high as lap traffic.
High on the racetrack, that is.
Yeah. Well, what you get up
I
to
mean-
in your spare time is not on me.
And they're putting that one on John Hopley.
I mean, I would.
Yeah. Do you mean Mark Hanna?
No, they just gave Hopley an EOL.
What?
Yeah.
That's probably for damage reasons. He was nowhere near it.
Okay.
Charles Robertson, your current race leader here in the number 48 spiked Chevrolet Camaro. Everybody coming down pit road now as we're going to have some wholesale pit stops here. What do you think, guys? 4 tires since they're in the neighborhood?
I would take 4 right now. That way I only got to do fuel only on the money stop.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I'm pretty sure there were some that took just rights on an earlier stop. Maybe you could take just lefts. I don't know what that would do to the car. 48 takes no tires at all.
The 11 getting himself all kinds of confused here. We'll take a run here and just see exactly what might have happened to the 11 car as he kind of came in. Daniel Salo here. As we're going to see him here on the left side here to the left of that dotted line in the South Point Camaro. He comes down and he just bounces off another driver, and I can't see which number that is. Looks like the 90-something. And gets himself into the pit box.
And a race off of pit road in the end, won by Chris Worrell, who took fuel only. Charles Roberson taking fuel only. AJ Green also fuel only. Colin Zima did not pit. Justin Barkley, Christian Delgado both taking tyres, as did Bjorn Brostrom, Steven Sear, Marcus Hagman, Alex Aronson. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to step away for a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
And right now we have Chris Worrell. Sorry about that. My goodness. Driver of the number 54 Cub Cadet Toyota Supra here with us. Chris, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy.
Hey there, Dave. How you doing?
Every day's a new adventure here at Sim Racing Media. Listen, take us through what brought you up these 12 positions so far.
Well, Dave, I'm just going to be straight and simple. I'm the best there ever is, the best there ever will be. I plan on staying up front and leading every lap I can and winning this race if I got to wreck the damn car doing it. Daggone car, excuse my language.
Chris, I think you got your wrestlers confused there, bud.
I don't care. This is me, Chris Worrell.
I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I didn't get any sleep. Don't mind me. I'm gonna just keep racing hard until wheels fall off.
So bring me the
That's the
trophy.
plan.
Bring me the trophy, or bring me the steering wheel.
Exactly.
All right.
Also, I know how much Daniel Solo likes meatballs, so I plan on giving him one. So be watching out for that.
Let's just wait till after the checkers to do it, so you don't damage your own ride.
We'll see what happens.
All right, Chris. Well, listen, we appreciate your time. We're going to send you on back there to your JGR team, but thank you for the time, brother.
Thank you, David.
That was Mr. Chris Worrell here. That was, listen, Tony.
That's never a dull moment when he's in the booth.
God, I really got worried at first, you know?
Yeah, no, that's Chris being Chris. You know, if you can't have fun with what you're doing, why are you doing it?
Well, that's a fair point. But he's going to bring the field back around here as he is on the inside of row 1 with Charles Roberson on the outside. Row 2 going to be made up of AJ Green and Justin Barkley in 4th. Christian Delgado rounding out the top 5 as the iRacing.com pace car going to make that hard left turn down pit road. Worrell brings them into the Geico restart zone. The green light turns on and we are back green flag racing at Daytona International Speedway. Morrell gets a big jump, and as we've seen so many other times today, Tony, it seems like that big jump can be a little dangerous, especially when you've got a mirror full of A.J. Green behind you.
Well, the good news for Worrell, he and A.J. Green are actually teammates in the iRacing East Super Speedway Series that you'll see here every Friday night on Sim Racing Media. And just as I say that, of course, Green goes up and around with the use of Charles Robertson in the 48, drops right down in front of Worrell. And I dare say A.J. Green is in the safest hands he could be in right now, being as with all the time that Chris spends running super speedways, especially on Friday nights, he's not going to turn you. If Chris doesn't finish a race, he's been caught up in other people's dumpster fires. I have yet to see him actually charged with a caution in the 3 years that I've been watching him drive.
Taking a look here from Charles Roberson at the rear bumper of Chris Morrell. And right now, Roberson just being a perfect drafting partner as he is giving the bump and nudge here to Morrell. And Morrell now out to a nice, healthy 0.07 second lead over A.J. Green now, as they are nose to tail, stem to stern here at Daytona. And Tony, listen, these drivers are working their tails off.
They are at that, and if you take a look at what's going on up at the front of this piece, you got Worrell's Toyota, Christian Delgado's Ford, and then it's a sea of Chevys back to 12th.
Yeah, even here from Justin Barkley, they're single file, and I'll tell you what, the Tampa, Florida native here, 32 years old, running in 5th right now. He's keeping it together, but he's got to stay away from that double yellow line there on the bottom. As you know, if you don't transition up smooth enough, you run the risk of basically getting sucked down onto the apron just as it transitions into the turn.
Not as bad in this car as it was with the previous generations of Cup car, mostly because these I'm sorry, we're not even in the Cup car. I'm sorry. I should say it's not as bad in the Cup car as it can be in this car. So the guys that don't have a lot of Xfinity Series practice, they're going to struggle at that, because with the Cup car, you can touch the apron and it'll save. And oh my goodness.
That's unlucky for the one. That just chose the wrong side.
I'll say he did. Let's run this back. I just happen to have switched over to the blimp cam to get a look at these guys going side by side here, and it
Good
turns
timing.
out that that was reasonably decent timing for myself, which is odd. Let's just say odd.
What just happened there?
We see the 23 following and just gets sideways and turns into a car collector.
No. That was a netcode from something.
Yeah, that car just jumped sideways. And there was nobody behind him. The low lane didn't come up and hit him.
Let me see if I can find a better camera angle here to work from.
The blimp.
Unless the 98 has got
I'm going to look from the chopper, as a matter of fact.
a magic lag switch that affects cars over a car width away, then I don't know, because the 98 moves up ever so slightly, but nowhere near enough to make contact at all.
Folks, take a look at this, and we're going to actually sit in the 6 car just behind him. And we're going to go right here to the roof of the 6 car. And we're just going to watch, all of a sudden, the 23 just turn sideways. Gone.
It is the worst netcode I think I have ever seen. One of.
I'm going to take a look here from the actual inside of the 23.
Yeah, that's
You
wild.
see his hands. He was holding steady, and all of a sudden it just snapped.
Something hit the back end of that car. And
Phantom or not, that is true.
That's what I mean. Is that was netcode from hell, because I think the three of us could have walked between those cars, holding hands, running side by side.
You're gonna run?
I'll be dragged.
I mean, I don't run. This is not a body designed by running.
If you ever see me running, you might want to do the same, because I'm in a wheelchair, and if I'm running, that means something's worse than the pain I'm about to experience.
I drink a lot, but not that much.
Exactly. Yeah, that was wild.
I tend to say netcode giveth, netcode taketh away, but that's a bit far.
That was netcode from hell.
Honeyman Gaming is claiming tire blown.
I don't think this game simulates that.
They kind of do.
The way I've only ever had it simulated is I tend to get a meatball for tires, unless that's only on road courses.
That's only on road courses.
I see.
I believe that was something they were experimenting with, but I don't think it's on this car.
Front Seat Gaming is reporting hardware fail. So Front Seat Gaming, thank you for the update, as we're always staring here in the live chat. And speaking of the live chat on youtube.com, make sure that you're giving us a shout and letting us know who you're pulling for in today's race, whether you're cheering on for Chris Worrell sitting atop the pile, or, of course, Mr. Clarence Prince, driver of the number 19 Toyota Supra. And, without Clarence, we wouldn't even be here today, gentlemen.
You're absolutely correct. And, we can't thank Clarence enough for wanting to, step up and try to give another spotlight to this league, being as we already broadcast the Cup Series races. Clarence taking the money out of his own pocket to pay for this broadcast tonight. Clarence, thank you so much.
Yeah, the Newark, New Jersey vet pulling down here on the apron and towing out. So I believe he has had himself the end of the day as the CentryAC.com Toyota Supra now sitting on pit road.
You hate to see that for anybody, but especially in a race that you yourself put the money up for, so everybody else could go back and watch the fun that they had today. And this is only the first of 3 races that we have today. 4:45 Eastern time. Jason and I are going to be back in the booth for the iSNF Cup Series, and then Dave, you're going to be on track for the nightcap, are you not?
I sure am, here in prime time on Sim Racing Media. I will be in the number 21 Sim Racing Media Chevrolet Camaro tonight, and we'll be here at Daytona for 80 laps. And I'll tell you what, the Davis Brothers Roofing Cup Series is just getting cranked up, as it's playoff season, fellas.
Night. Pace car makes that hard left turn, go below the mustard line. Worrell brings him into the Geico restart zone, waits on it, and rolls into the throttle as he's got a guy he's very familiar with down there on the low side. Bails up out of the way to try to pick up the 48 of Robertson. That's going to open the door for Hagman and Green on the low side. Or not.
Not if he slams it back down. I did see that coming, admittedly, probably so that the 21 doesn't get too much of a good run, so that Worrell can stay up at that top spot rather than get absolutely eaten alive like we've seen before. But we're looking fairly sensible here so far, he says timidly.
Well, we're almost to the point of you can make it from here. Another 10 laps, and we're probably going to see the money stops happen.
Yeah, I would say so.
Driver's starting to get a little squirrely here on lap number 63 of 100, working our way toward that checkered flag, as we've had quite an exciting race here for stages 1 and 2, and now here we are in stage 3, winding down the laps as we are just about 38 laps to the end. And right now, your race leader, Marcus Hagman, up 2 positions from where he had qualified in the number 21 Chevrolet Camaro. Oddly enough, I just talked about it, but different 21 Chevy. Chris Worrell, I can't say that one. Worrell.
Whoa.
Sure, Worrell. Chris Worrell now coming back.
Oh my!
And we're wrecking behind him. Everybody is dodging. What in the world?
Bjorn Brostrom just got sent.
And we're still green here they were just 3 wide deeper here in the field as we take a look at Daniel Solo here in the number 11 South Point Chevrolet Camaro. And, of course, Chris Worrell had already spoken of him. Oh! They get side by side in front of him. Who just got punted?
I'm trying to find it. Looks like it could have been in Van Maastricht.
We're going to take a look here.
Well, I can also
Taking a
tell
look
you why
here
that
at
whole
the
thing-
16 car as Joey Maines in the 16 just got punted by the 42. We're going to see the 42 come down track. He was trying to parallel park between the 78 and the 16, took his time, and wound up just punting the 16 down onto the apron.
Yeah, I can also tell you that the 42 was involved in the last incident, but he was sort of straddling the yellow line through 3 and 4, and that meant the guys behind him either had to go around or check up. And I forget who it was. It was the 27 decided check up. That didn't appear to be the correct option for him, though. It's the guy behind just didn't.
This second pack that's just passing the start-finish line right now, led by the one car, Brian Treadwell. I mean, they're trying to get themselves organized, but it seems like Brian may be fighting, trying to get everybody in line behind him so they can start trying to close in on the front pack. I mean, both packs about 9 and 10 cars full. These drivers, they're not going to be giving up anytime soon. But I guess if you lose this front pack, you can drift back to the second pack. But without any organization, they aren't going to get up there.
Christian Delgado right now is in that situation where he is starting to drift back from this lead group. The 98, he's still within drafting range, but he's got to be careful. And with the front end damage on that Monster Energy number 98. If he doesn't draft back up, and now he's finally back up to battle with Steven Sear, it's 6 seconds before he's going to see another car.
Yeah, and just as he was starting to draft up to the rear of Steven Sear, he kind of kissed that yellow line, bounced himself, and it was just enough to slow him down. So now it looks like he's trying to work his way back up to the rear end of Sear. And Sear, of course, just behind Michael Iskander and Trey Mitz, as they're trying just to hang on to this front pack so that they don't become a pack of sitting ducks there, just the 3 of them.
And unfortunately for the second pack, they are getting even less organized with some 3-wide action back here, as they go Noah's Ark style 2x2 into turn 1.
Now, Dave, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. If you could focus on the 91 for us, that is Christian Malšarek out of Slovakia. Christian just so happens to be a real-world wheeling Euro NASCAR driver. He usually drives the Monster Energy Camaro. Tonight we see him in the 91, and he admittedly does not have any real-world oval experience, but he's doing an amazing job of playing the aero here at Daytona.
Absolutely. The Bratislava native here, 31 years old. It's impressive when you see somebody who's able to come out, with no real oval track super speedway experience and hold himself where he is. I mean, we're not trying to say that super speedway driving is easy by any stretch. In fact, it just shows the skill that this driver has.
Absolutely. And, we were talking about it at Watkins Glen last week. I personally would love to see him in Project 91 next season.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Project 91, very exciting. And Tony, why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
So Trackhouse Racing decided that they wanted to get a big name to come over and run road courses next season, or this season, and they ended up signing a deal with Kimi Räikkönen, former Formula One world champion, driver for Ferrari, and all around, you know, he's a hell of a driver. And they put him in a car for Watkins Glen, and they made the announcement during the press conference at the Glen last weekend that they plan on running all the road races and some select oval races for Project 91. It's not going to be a full season, but they do want to try to run Daytona. They do want to try to run all the road courses, and then they're going to see what they can come up with for sponsorships for that car for the remainder of the season. And, you know, they want drivers from Europe to come over. They want Formula One drivers. They want Euro NASCAR drivers. They want German touring car drivers. They want TCC drivers, or BTC drivers to come over. You know, and, you know, they want Australian drivers to come over. They want guys that have done well in their selected disciplines to come over and try these cup cars. And I think Christian would be a great fit.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if you're able to come, you know, we've talked, you know, you and I, you know, hundreds of times about basically the fact that iRacing allows most of us the experience to train a lot in the same way, I should say, as real life NASCAR drivers, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And, you know, we see a lot of these guys coming from other series, from other places in the world, able to compete at a very high level after training here on iRacing. You know, I always make the joke that it's not a game, it's a simulation.
Well, I mean, you think back to the last time they did Car Swap, Fox put that together, where Lewis Hamilton and Tony Stewart swapped cars for a day. How do you think Tony learned the boot layout at Watkins Glen?
Oh yeah.
How do you think
scanned iRacing track?
Exactly. How do you think Lewis learned what it feels like to drive a cup car? iRacing. So, you know, when you've got some of the biggest teams in the world using this simulator as a legit training tool, especially for newer tracks, I guarantee you're going to see this simulator packed with guys turning laps at the upcoming Chicago street course. You know, as the real world is going to the Windy City next season.
Taking a look here from the roof of Justin Barkley's machine, I'll tell you what, this Chevrolet, he is sitting in what here in Pennsylvania, or at least here in southeastern Pennsylvania, looks like Monday morning rush hour traffic on the Schuylkill Expressway. It is nothing but cars left, in front, behind, or right, well, actually to the right, in front and behind him. I mean, you know, you can see just here as we spin around the 24 machine of Curtis Kelly on the right, and then he's got the 28 of Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Rhea Ferris's teammate here, just at his right rear. I mean, there is no room to breathe here on the racetrack, even still at this stage of the race with 26 to go.
I just crashed.
How did you crash? You're in a wheelchair and you're sitting at a computer.
Same way I crashed last night doing the review of the new NHRA game.
Well, then I guess Jason and I might have to carry this until you can get it back together, yeah?
I'm trying. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. It's not like I've said too much in a while. But, yeah.
Sorry, Jason, don't mean to step all over you.
No, it's fine. Honestly, I had nothing nothing of value to input into the discussion. A bit too high grade for me, but we've got some guys pitting. I can see that.
Here comes the money stop. Alex Arnoldson, Marcus Hagman, and Justin Barkley down pit road.
Yep, they've probably run their numbers on fuel and have decided, yep, now is the time we can make it from here. So fill up that 65% fuel fill and get back out as quickly as possible. Looks like about 8 to 10 seconds spent in pits for most of those guys. Joey Manis, Colin Zima, and Brian Treadwell also coming down on the same lap. So probably be looking to see a few more cars come down this time by. That's unfortunate. You're going down as one car, Trey Metz.
That's a cowboy if I ever saw one.
Yeah, that's not what you want at Daytona by any stretch.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, Brian Treadwell was leading that second pack, so he may be thinking he can, instead of leading the second pack, once the other drivers come down for their money stops, maybe leading that lead pack.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you can pit earlier, latch onto the back of this lead pack, and then just sort of use their momentum to slingshot you around as they make their pit stops. That could work well for you, as no one coming down this time by, but these guys will have the fuel to go for a bit more, especially Taylor Butch-Benjamin and Steven Sear, who both last came down on lap 59 as the 28 all over the back of the 91. Looked like they were getting a little bit loose there, but held it all together on that top lane, trying to challenge for the lead of this race as we are just about completing our 78th lap. There's 28 ducking down, so time for them to come in, maybe?
It's got to be real close, and all of a sudden we're just going to see a bunch of brake smoke as this front pack here, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 strong here in the front pack with 22 to go. We're suddenly going to see a bunch of brake smoke and all kinds of guys diving down there onto pit road. Taking a look at our youtube.com live chat, Zorku Aravar says 422 sucks, and I'll tell you this, Jason, being from across the pond, have you ever been to Philadelphia?
Nope, I have not even been to the country.
Ah, well, that's okay. We're great, but we're not that great, at least to come from over there. But 422 is one of the main arteries that runs into Philadelphia here on the East Coast, and it's just a nightmare every morning and every afternoon. To me, it would probably look more like, I can't even compare it to anything in England. I've never been there, so, but it's like a parking lot, but everybody's supposed to be moving forward.
Yeah, that's we have a road around London. It's the M25. That's our motorway around London, and there's always bits of that just get completely clogged up for no apparent reason whatsoever, even though it's just a circle.
Yeah, trust me, I totally agree with your sentiment. I mean, sometimes you're sitting in traffic and all of a sudden it's like everybody's suddenly crawling at 20 miles an hour, and then out of nowhere it's suddenly you're going back at, I'm sorry, I guess I should convert it. All of a sudden, then you're going back at 100 kilometers per hour.
We work in miles.
Oh, okay, fine, 60. But looks like our leaders are down pit road now. Chris Worrell, Charles Roberson, Curtis Kelly, AJ Green, Christian Malatrek, Steven Sear, and Christian Delgado all down pit road. That leaves Taylor Butcher-Benjamin atop the pile, who last came in on lap number 59. So it looks like he's maybe trying to pick up a bonus point for leading a lap. And as these other drivers are now, it's Butcher-Benjamin along with Brostrom and Derek Cook. Your top three is those three drivers last in on lap 59.
Yeah, and I'm keeping a look on the Harrelson, Hagman, Barkley group, who all came down together on lap 75. They've just come out of the trioval portion, coming into turn 1 now. So where are they going to come out in comparison to Chris Worrell? It looks like pitting later may have been the best option, although these guys are still getting up to speed. So, actually, the earlier pit stops, these guys must have worked really well together, as they are probably just going to go straight past Chris Worrell and pick him up behind them.
You know, Worrell's kind of hung out to dry right now as he's trying to get up to speed. A little bit of drafting help to help on that low side.
Welcome back, Tony.
Okay.
Oi!
I guess he was expecting the 11 to move up, but I don't know where he would have moved up to be honest. Apart from being up there originally.
That could have been a big moment for Worrell. And right now, he's got to hope that AJ Green and Curtis Kelly are willing to work with him.
We see the 11 that Worrell had already put the word out for. The 11 holding the yellow line coming through the tri-oval, and Worrell just goes and dives down. My goodness, Tony, you were right to exclaim the way that you did, because that could have been real ugly real fast.
Absolutely could have. The last place you really want to be at speed is down on the apron coming through the tri-oval, because there's so much dirt, debris, and just nastiness down there that it's so easy to lose it.
Taking a look now at Marcus Hagman here in the number 21 Chevrolet Camaro. He's in line here with one of his countrymen, Alex Arnoldson, here in the number 2 Whalen Chevrolet, and followed by Justin Barkley. So a trio of Chevrolets now being hunted down by Chris Worrell and Justin Barkley, as now Worrell is being pushed along here by AJ Green to get around this pack.
Like I mentioned, they've worked together well in the past. And they've got the Toyota of Curtis Kelly up there with them. So, yeah, you've got 3 Chevys on the low side, but AJ Green has been working well with the Toyotas tonight.
Yeah, these two definitely work very well together, but you know exactly what's going to happen as well as I do, Tony. When they get to the last 5 laps, they are going to be battling like no one else against each other after working together for the entire race.
Katie, bar the door.
Taking a look here at Taylor Butcher Benjamin out of Baltimore, Maryland. I'll tell you what, he's trying to lead right now over top of Charles Roberson in the 48 to claw back up to where he was when he had stayed out earlier. And he had last come on lap number 81, so he's definitely going to be gaining a few spots when Linus Bostrom and Derek Cook come down pit road. But I'm not sure if they've got enough to try to catch Worrell, AJ Green, Curtis Kelly, and of course Justin Barkley back here through the 21 of Marcus Hagman.
Well, you got 6 cars lined stem to stern that are working well together. This is your battle essentially for the race lead right now, as Bostrom and Cook still have to come pit side for their money stops. And you see who that was that got the heck up and out of the way.
Someone sensible.
There you go. Right now, though, the gap from this group of 6, led by Worrell, Green, Kelly, Arnoldson, Barkley, and Hagman, it's almost 4.5 seconds back to the next pack that's being led by Taylor Butcher Benjamin.
Yeah. I mean, these are basically the guys who have done well on their pit strategy and I guess managed to pick each other up, and we are definitely looking at the effective race lead here, because Bostrom and Cook last down on lap 59, no way they're making it.
It's not possible, but the good news for them is, well, the better news for them is that they are probably going to be able to stay on the lead lap, provided they go fuel only. And the later that they take this is more advantageous, simply because they're not going to have to put more fuel in.
Yeah, but if they manage to catch a pack on their way out the pits, then they'll get some extra drafting help.
Right, what I'm saying is they're not going to have to pack the car as full of fuel as everybody who's already been down had to.
Yeah. As 21's just going to get shuffled to the back of this
Lead-
back as Brostrom and Cook both in.
Leaders are in. There's your
Number
new race
99
leader.
There they are. And the 99 Good Sam Chevrolet of Derek Cook and Linus Bostrom both coming down for the money stop. Obviously just going to be fuel only here with 13 laps to go. Chris Worrell, your race leader here in the iSNF Tsunami 250 at Daytona as we are 13 to go. AJ Green running in P2 right now. P3, Curtis Kelly, Alex Arnoldson in fourth. Marcus Hagman rounds out the top five. And just the honorable mention because they are side by side right now. Justin Barkley in the number 6. Hempe, is that Hempiana, if I understand correctly? That is. Chevrolet Camaro. A busy day here at Daytona International Speedway as so many of our leagues, you know, they mirror the real-life NASCAR schedule. Of course, the Cup Series racing here after being rained out last night, making up the race today. And, you know, of course, so many other leagues on iRacing.com. And, of course, the regular iRacing Public Series here at the World Center of Racing. I mean, guys, it's been a long week at the Super Speedway.
If you ever hear someone say, you know, I want to race Daytona again, after the week that has been in iRacing this week, you need to call for the men in the little the white coats to bring a long sleeve coat to your friend.
Unless it's the
Absolutely.
road course for the Daytona 24, because that also happens to be happening on iRacing next weekend.
Now,
Next weekend?
Is it
Yeah,
really?
yeah. It's not the special event Daytona 24. It's the let's have a 24-hour series so that we can happen to have a 24 hours of Le Mans series that they put Daytona in. So
Okay.
we've got a Daytona
Well-
24 apart from its LMP1, LMP2 GTE.
You know, every now and then when I hear about, you know, you guys that get to do more road racing than I do, because I'm the quintessential rube that just let me turn left. I'm bad enough turning left. Just leave me here. It always makes me jealous when I get to see, you know, you guys that get to do road racing so much more than we do. How good that is. How amazing that looks. Even at a place like Daytona where you're waiting for everybody just to stay on the high bank.
Yeah. Well, David, let me propose this to you. Being as the AI series has got one round left, have you heard what we're doing for season 2 of the Sim Racing Media AI series?
I have heard whispers, but why don't you tell the rest of the fans?
Aussie B8 supercars, baby.
See, that's exciting to me. And I think it's easier for me to watch it than it is for me to drive it.
Well, there's probably going to be a race or two that, you know, we could use a third man in the booth. So I'm going to give you both an open invitation to join us in the booth for one of those races.
I will definitely put that on my to-do list. I didn't get to run in the SLMs, or not run, but call any of the SLMs, as it's been kind of a crazy summer so far for me. But that definitely sounds more exciting there on the roadside.
Yeah, absolutely is. And we're going to be running, 2 rounds at each track. So we're going to hit each track twice.
Fair enough. Well,
And it's a good series.
Justin
sounds
Barkley
like
now
it.
going at it hammer and tongs with Chris Worrell here with 8 to go. And I'll tell you what, guys, I think that it's all going to come down to this at this point. I mean, we can see that they are side by side. Nobody's going to be giving up any kind of real estate moving forward right now.
Oh, this is where the real battling begins. I mean, sure, there was battling before, but this is the stuff that actually matters, and you'll be seeing that switching lanes left and right, and maybe even center at some points. So that'll be scary.
Yeah,
One guy
everyone
we know. I was going to go ahead, Dave.
everyone was real bold earlier to be 3 wide. Now everybody's kind of calmed down and thought, okay, Our fast repairs are burned up, so I guess maybe it's time to take care of the machine to get to the checkered flag.
We know one of the guys that's not afraid to take it 3 wide is in that Cub Cadet number 54. That is Chris Worrell, as I believe that's Linus Brostrom going a lap down.
Yes, it is. In fact, Chris Worrell was one of the main culprits going 3 wide early on in the race, but clearly it worked out for him. He knew what he was doing, even if we got white-knuckled up here in the booth because of it.
Hey.
Watching Worrell and Barkley bring the field down through the 3-4 complex into the tri-oval. As we sit here from just almost the spotter stand, they are side by side for 3 straight rows. And basically the 47 of Linus Brostrom desperately holding on to that lucky dog. At this point, he's just kind of hoping for that thing that could happen with a short amount of time left in the race that I don't want to say because
Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue right now, David.
I'm biting it.
That's the last thing we want to see is we are 6 to go. Worrell's going to drop down to throw the block on the 6 as Hagman now a little bit hung out to dry. He's going to have to back up to the 2 of Eraldson. 2 Swedes working together on the high side, and that is a 3rd Swede joining them. So the Swedes contingent on the top shelf right now, trying to make something happen. The only oddball out right now is going to be that 24 of Curtis Kelly, as he is the lone Canadian in that lead group.
Yeah, I mean, it's North America versus Sweden by the looks of things, as Linus Brostrom's in the interesting position where he's gone a lap down, but he can still help people out. He's still helping the people that he wants to help on that top lane, and Chris Worrell deciding to block that top lane, and they thought about it. They're still thinking.
Hagman's going for it, it looks like. No, he's just trying to get clean air to that radiator. Worrell almost received the chrome horn from Hagman. And again, lap cars getting up and out of the way. Oi. 4 to go.
I know I'm starting to sweat just thinking about it. I mean, here we are looking at Marcus Hagman pushing the 54 of Chris Worrell down the back stretch. It looks like they have just decided who their drafting partners are going to be. Now the question is, as they're bump drafting down the backstretch and into turn 3, does Worrell drop down and leave Hagman out to dry? And of course he does. Now he's depending on the 6 of Justin Barkley to push him around. And basically Hagman's got to be back there a little steamed.
Well, the good news for Hagman is he's got his fellow countrymen. They're all driving Chevys. They're all able to work together. And they just got to get just a tick more organized. I think Hagman would be in better shape if it was Brostrom behind him and not Eraldson, because Eraldson has shown that he's not that comfortable as a pusher, unlike Justin Barkley, who is shoving the daylights out of Chris Worrell right now.
Yep, seems like that's going to work pretty well in Chris Worrell's favor, but that Swedish contingent is making a little bit of ground up in the top, actually, even with 1 less car and feeling slightly less organized, as we are coming on to 2 to go here.
Hagman being bumped down onto the start-finish line by Alex Eraldson, his countryman, as previously noted. And he gets a little loose coming through. That's going to cost him some momentum there, as that's got to be frustrating, as now he's going to lose a lot of ground now on Worrell and Barkley. As Barkley, Worrell looks like he's trying to throw the block on Barkley as they come down the back stretch here, Tony.
Curtis Kelly glued to the back bumper of Worrell. They got the 3 of AJ Green down there as well. Barkley knows his only shot is to take the higher line as they weave their way around the very wounded Bjorn Brostrom. Coming out of turn number 4, they can see the white flag in the air. They've got to get to the start-finish line. Coming into the tri-oval, still 2 wide. Worrell with a slight advantage by half a fender. We are racing back to checkers.
Oh, if it stays like this, it's going to be very, very good. Marcus Hagman pushing the absolute daylights out of Justin Barkley on that top lane. And Alex Haraldson getting pretty close as well. So close to contact coming through too.
And as we come down the backstretch there, side by side, Justin Barkley and Chris Worrell have gotten the hammers and tongs. The torches and pitchforks are out, and they are angry as they go down here into turn 3. The 54 being pushed by Curtis Kelly from New Brunswick, and he has got him side by side coming out of turn 4. The checkers are in the air. The man in the stand has that ready to wave like crazy as they come down toward the start-finish line. Side by side, they're wrecking. The 6 car gets pushed across the start-finish line, and Justin Barkley is your iSNF Tsunami 250 winner at Daytona International Speedway.
Sure hope Curtis is okay.
My goodness. Yeah, I hope he's okay for sure. Whew.
Ooh.
Well, he's still driving.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at that point, I think AJ Green wanted to try something, maybe just trying to make a lane where there wasn't necessarily space, but you're coming towards the end.
Curtis Kelly bringing home the checkered flag here from Tampa, Florida. He doesn't have that far to take the flag as he only has a few hours drive up there to Tampa. The 32-year-old, one of the founding members of the iSNF JDM team here on a Sunday afternoon. What a great race, guys.
It absolutely was. I mean, it was action-packed from the time the green flag flew till the time the checkers finally dropped. But I'm going back and looking at this wreck, Dave, and Linus Brostrom just got yeeted into the wall. Curtis Kelly got together with AJ Green, turning them both. And, oi.
Yeah, that's
The 99 just caught a race car to the teeth.
That seemed like a wreck that if you were Curtis Kelly or Linus Brostrom and you happen to be running in a motion rig, you'd probably be able to crash your rig with the amount of forces going through it in that one.
I dare say it would have thrown you out of the rig if you weren't strapped in. But yeah, Derek Cook caught a race car to the teeth there.
But as we wait on our drivers for interviews, let's just confirm the order of that top group. Obviously, Justin Barkley getting the win and Chris Worrell in second place. Then we've got Marcus Hagman and Alex Haraldson, 3 and 4, both Swedes. Then AJ Green and Curtis Kelly, 5th and 6th. And that was the end of that group, with Linus Brostrom obviously being a lap down here. In the end was in 16th. And the rest of your top 10 being made up of Taylor Butch Benjamin, Christian Malcharik, Charles Roberson, Christian Delgado was your 10th place driver, as we're having a few issues trying to find our drivers. I think
Yeah, looking for Justin Barkley. And Justin, if you're watching the broadcast, we're trying to get you there in the Discord as I'm searching through here as best I can.
Yeah, it's maybe these guys not necessarily used to being interviewed at the end of the race. It's not normally broadcast, so it's...
And of course, speaking of the fact that the race is not normally broadcast, we do once again want to give a tip of the cap there to Clarence Prince, driver of the number 19 Toyota Supra, as without him, this race would not have been possible whatsoever, or at least this broadcast would not have been possible whatsoever, as he dipped into his own pocket to get on the air today. So, Clarence, once again, thank you for the opportunity that you gave us up here in the broadcast booth. Still looking for Justin Barkley, but I'm going to go look for
Justin's here.
Who?
Yeah,
Justin's here, Worrell's here. And Jason, I believe you got Justin Barkley with you now.
Yes, sir.
I do indeed. Driver of the number 6 race winner here at Daytona. Your thoughts on that race?
That was intense. You know, I started in the front, and you know, everybody was getting aggressive at the beginning, and I was like, well, don't know if I want to stay up here that long. Then something happened. I went to the back, and then somehow I just ended back up there, and man, it was intense racing. Good
Yeah,
time
well,
though.
you absolutely. It was a great time to broadcast as well. You made it back up to the top. What were your strategies going through for the last 5 laps? Where did you want to be in that?
So I definitely wanted to be in front of the 3, and the 54 was fast, so I wanted to be in front of them too. And I think the 12 and the 2 were helping me. But I definitely wanted to stay in front of AJ and the 54 because they were pretty quick all night.
Yeah, and that worked out pretty well for you. Now I will look forward in the schedule that I just need to find. But what are your thoughts going into the next race, which is at Hickory Motor Speedway? Interesting.
I honestly I don't think I've ever raced the Xfinity car at Hickory, so
Good luck.
yeah, so it's gonna be a learning curve.
Yeah, and unfortunately we will not be broadcasting it, but we are lucky enough to broadcast this one. So before
We're
we
not
let you go, is there
broadcasting
anyone
it
you like?
yet.
Very true. But before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Just shout out for iSNF for letting me race today, and for my teammates from other leagues to help me get up there. So
Yeah, and once again, then congratulations, and we are broadcasting a few more in this series, so we look forward to speaking to you whenever we can.
alrighty, thank you guys.
So that was Justin Barclay, and Dave, I believe you've got Chris Worrell with you now.
Chris Worrell, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother.
What's up, David?
Listen, man, you had that number 54 Toyota Supra all kinds of cranked up to crazy. I mean, definitely weren't cutting any grass down there in the infield with the Cub Cadet machine, but wow, what a run.
Yeah, that was fun. I knew it was going to take a lot to beat those RCR guys. Probably had the best guys on one team, so I knew I needed some help there at the end, or I was just going to get trampled every time. Coming to the line, I really wish I would have seen AJ going for the pass on Curtis. Thanks to Curtis for helping me there. But if I'd have known he was going to go for that pass, I'd have probably tried to side drive the 6 a little bit more and give Curtis room to stay up, because I knew he was just trying to push me to the win. But I didn't even realize the 3 had gone under him at that point, and that kind of like really killed the momentum when that wreck happened. But I'd have done the same thing if I was AJ too. I just wish I'd have recognized it and moved up and pinch those guys up top or something. But it was fun. I'm glad we got to get some good racing in and have a good finish.
Yeah, and here you are at Daytona International Speedway, a super speedway, and next week you're going all the way back in time almost to Hickory Motor Speedway, a short track, a classic short track too. I mean, definitely a rite of passage in these Xfinity cars, way back in the hayback. How do you feel about going from the super speedway down to a tiny track like that?
Well, I'm a sub, but me personally, I'm definitely comfortable with it. I prefer the short tracks over any other oval racing. So if any team needs me next week to come and race Hickory, I'll be looking for the win there for sure.
Yeah, I would say that the P2 finish is definitely your bargaining chip for getting a ride for next week. So before we cut you loose, is there anybody that you'd like to tip your cap to, maybe there in Suffolk, Virginia, or elsewhere around the world for this performance this week?
Just teammates, Balls Out Racing, Curtis Kelly, he helped me there at the end. Congrats to Justin Barkley. Us 3 did the best we could to work together to beat the RCR guys. That was a lot of fun. Rhea for putting on the league, SRM, Tony for getting me in here. Yeah, other than that, thanks to everybody joining. Made it a good time.
All right, brother. Well, listen, you enjoy your week, and we won't be broadcasting you next week at this point, but you never know what may happen between now and then. So thank you for the time, and we will see you later.
Thanks, David. Have a good one.
And that was Mr. Chris Worrell, the 33-year-old from Suffolk, Virginia. And I believe, Tony, you should have Marcus Hagman from Vinegar, Sweden.
Good evening.
The world's fastest Swede, showing why we call him that yet again. Can't be too disappointed tonight, Marcus, with a third-place finish, especially with all the trials and tribulations that you went through tonight.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster ride for sure, and I made a promise to myself: a Toyota should not win the race today. So, and it didn't.
Well, yeah, no, you guys from RCR really had it. The PC way to put this, you had your poop in a group tonight, and you were really able to fend off those charging Toyotas there in the final lap. But Marcus, the bigger thing is you're able to use what you learned now to help kind of scout the upcoming race here in about an hour's time for the iSNF Cup Series.
I don't think so. I think you learn more about the Xfinity car coming from next gen than the opposite. So because nowadays there's two completely different cars and with completely different handling and force feedback and everything. So I don't think you learn that much. The only thing you learn basically is how to work with your teammates, and we got that one nailed out.
All right. Well, Marcus, talk us through like the final pit strategy. Was that something your team decided to do, or was it just I'm going? Anyone that wants to come with me is welcome?
That was something that me and Alex agreed on, and then we were just hoping people would join. Unfortunately, AJ was not in the same Discord for some reason. I don't think he can join the Xfinity Discord, so we need to talk to Rio about it. But yeah, that was a strategy from at least from me and Alex, and then we got Justin following us through there. I mean, the earlier you stop, the shorter the pit stop, the less fuel you need to put in the car. So, especially when you go full fuel like I normally do, because I'm too lazy to count.
I'm in the same boat, my friend. I definitely am. But we're going to let you go celebrate this podium with your team. Who do you need to thank before we turn you loose?
I need to thank my family for letting me do this. I need to thank Force Esport as always. We had one hell of a race at Suzuka the Thursday with basically dominating by Force Esport. So I need to thank both the oval and the road part there, and Jonas Force, and the sponsors for that team, Moby Rental Cars and Kappa Bar. So, and you guys, of course, for broadcasting the Xfinity race. I mean, the Xfinity races are normally cleaner than this.
Well, the man you really want to thank for this broadcast tonight is Clarence Prince.
Yeah, thank you so much for getting this broadcast happen, and thanks everyone who raced it to make the race happen.
All right, Marcus. Again, congratulations on the podium here at Daytona. Next week, you guys are going to Hickory. Best of luck to you then. We will hopefully be talking to you at the end of that race as well.
Yeah, hopefully. And I think everybody needs a bit of luck there. So, yeah. But next time I speak to you, hopefully, is this evening.
All right. Marcus Hagman, third place here tonight at Daytona. Best of luck to you later on in the Cup race.
Thank you, guys.
Well, gentlemen, another one in the books.
Another one in the books for sure. And I'll tell you what, after all of that, I am out of breath.
Well, I mean, think about all the times we were holding our breath here tonight. Thinking, are they going to wreck? Are they going to wreck? Yep, there it goes.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, it was an absolute joy working with you. I mean, finally the man, the myth, the legend is here in my ear. And, it's great to be able to have worked with you finally.
Yeah, it was great working with you as well, and we definitely bring our own things to the booth, and I think this worked really well. I think this is a great combination. I look forward to having it again at some point in the future.
Absolutely. And Tony, as always, it's always great when I'm sitting alongside you. I mean, you're my brother from another mother, and I'm just hanging out with my friend.
Well, the next time we get to do a broadcast together is going to be this coming Wednesday, as you're going to need to be in the booth for the Thunderclap race.
And we'll be together Tuesday, so you and I get Tuesday for Extreme, Wednesday for Thunderclap. It's going to be a long week for you and me.
It is, and this is only my first of 3 races today alone.
Yeah, I love you guys, but I'm going to be out of breath before I even climb in the car for practice.
Just take a nap.
Yeah,
You'll
you're
be
right.
fine.
You're right. Well, gentlemen, take us home, Tony.
Well, we need to run down the finishing order first.
Oops, too soon. Almost. Let's see here. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Coming home at the top of the pile, we already heard from Justin Barkley, Chris Worrell, and Marcus Hagman. Alex Haraldson hanging on for 4th. AJ Green in 5th. Curtis Kelly, after getting yeeted, comes home in 6th. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, good recovery drive for him, coming home in 7th. 8th going to Christian Malsharek and Charles Robertson in 9th. And Christian Delgado rounding out your top 10. Jason?
And then just outside the top 10 and 11th, we've got Steven Sear and Joey Manis in 12th position. Then Colin Zima, Trey Mitz, and Tommy Stanley, 13th, 14th, and 15th, with that rounding out our lead lap finishes. Then we've got Linus Brostrom, Derek Cook, James Bowles, Mike Iskandar, and Michael Hagstrom rounding out your top 20, Dave.
Daniel Sullo finishes in 21st. Casey Tomlinson, 22nd. Chris Van Maastricht, although that he's, I couldn't help but think about this, that double A in the van at the beginning there. He's not Swedish. He's American, but it kind of sticks out there with that flag next to him. Bjorn Brostrom finishes 24th. Rhea Ferris, our very own league owner here in the number 39 A-Team Ford Mustang, finishing 25th. Brian Treadwell in the number 1 Oreo Chevrolet Camaro finishes 26th. Peyton Hubbard in 27th. Isaac Wilson in 28th. 29th, Chase Harden, and 30th, your race sponsor, Mr. Clarence Prince. And once again, we'd like to thank him, Tony.
We absolutely do need to thank Clarence. And rounding out your field tonight, Alex Weigert, Bob Wyckoff, and JB Banner all putting it on the hauler early, as well as John Hopley, Mark Hanna, and Matt Forns. Robert Rowe only did a start and park, and Frederick Lejeune unfortunately did not take the green. So that should now do it for us tonight here for the iSNF Xfinity Series from Daytona. For Mr. Jason Sawford, for Mr. Dave Regal, this is Tony Trapasser, reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again as you walk down the road of life, whatever you do, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.